Good evening, Drew.
Oh, that was a slight delay. What happened there?
Yeah, I forgot to hit record before I started talking.
Oh.
I almost did. I almost usually I hit record and then answer.
Hmm.
But I hit answer. I was so excited to talk to you. Uh, I hit answer before I hit record, and then there was a moment of panic. Like, what do I do? What do I do? You just hit record, and then you start talking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works, turns out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how are things?
Uh, man, quick health update. So I've been having like a series of good days and bad days. Today was a pretty good day. I didn't have any pain at all today. This was
Nice.
the first day in about 2 weeks that I haven't had any pain. Yesterday, on the other hand, was really bad, like really
Oh.
bad. Yeah. So it seems like it's tapering a little bit. I still have to go get my blood test. I haven't done that yet just because timing has been awful and there was a slight mix up on the doctor's office part because I need to go to an actual lab to get this done. I'm not going to my doctor's office. So, like, there's this referral, like, scheduling type conflict or I don't know. So my goal for tomorrow is I have a pretty light day tomorrow work wise. I'm gonna try to just go at lunch. There's really
Okay.
not. They said I really don't need an appointment, which seems weird to me. It's almost like you walk in, you give your vitals, they take your blood, and you're out. There's really not like
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
really there's really not more to do to it than that. So I just need to go get that done. And I received a lot of really nice messages in the
Good.
form of text and emails from people who were listening. So just want to say, much appreciated to everybody who reached out. You
That's
know,
sweet.
yeah, it was nice. That was really neat of everybody. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So
Yeah, I appreciate that too. Thank you, everybody.
yeah, that was
You're
really
good
nice.
people.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have we have good listeners. We banned all the bad people.
that's true. They're all banned.
They're all banned. Yeah.
Yep.
And then if you weren't a person who sent me well wishes, your ban is imminent. So
you're double banned. Double banned.
yeah.
Oh.
But I'm ready to dive into this first subject, and I
Mhm.
just want to say this up front before we get started. I feel bad about this. I know I have given you grief about this next subject, and I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
Dot dot
It hurt.
dot.
You're not sorry.
I'm
It
not
hurts.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm
What?
I'm I'm
Take
not
take us into this.
I'm not surprised either. Uh so if you're a listener to the show, you know, and if not, surprise. Uh I'm a big fan of the Logitech Harmony line of universal television remotes. Uh, I've been using them for long, long, long time now, as long as I can remember. Uh, like I think I got one of the first ones that came out when Logitech bought it from because Logitech bought the Harmony brand and then started making remotes. Uh, I love them. They're programmable remotes. They usually ship with software that is not great but passable. You put in all of your devices, you organize things into activities. So you don't have to do things like, okay, I want to play the Switch, so that means I got to turn the TV on, I got to turn the soundbar on, I got to turn the input on to HDMI 2 and the audio output to this, and you don't have to rely on things like what HDMI C that the automatic stuff that HDMI has for controlling things that never works for anybody. Uh, so like you organize your Logitech Harmony remotes into activities, so you can say, "Hey, I want to play the Switch," and it knows, "Oh, I got to turn this on and put this input on," and it does all that stuff for you, right? I love them. Uh, my wife approves of them. She finds them really easy to use. It's nice when people come over to the house who are like, going to spend the evening. I'm going to watch TV. You just go, hey, you want to watch TV? You push the watch TV button, and then magic happens. Uh, they're really nice. I love them. Drew gives me shit about them, but he's wrong. Uh, well, in a move that should surprise nobody, uh, Logitech has decided to discontinue their line of Logitech Harmony universal remotes, and that makes me sad. It makes me sad because they're truly wonderful products.
Wonderful, wonderful is a word.
No, wonderful is the right word. They're good. They're good remotes.
Logitech, they're good remotes. Trademark. Paul Bailey.
And they're discontinuing them in like the most passive aggressive way possible. Like, well, we're gonna stop selling the hardware, but we pinky promise that we're going to keep the software running and keep the database and keep updating the database with new devices as they get as they become available, and the software is going to continue to work forever. We pinky promise. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's a year tops before they just go, we're shutting it all down.
Now listen, I'm not going to pretend that universal remotes don't have a place. And I think you sort of summed up the perfect use case for the universal remote is if your TV pulls duty as more than one thing, right? So if it is a streaming viewing television and flipping back and forth between like a Switch or an Xbox or a PlayStation or something,
yep.
I totally get it, because really the only way you can control that TV is to switch the video mode with the original remote or a universal remote that can then in turn control whatever your streaming device is.
But the Roku I recently bought, right? Like it comes with a remote and I can make it turn on and off the television, but I have a sound bar and Roku's like, sound bar, what's that? Ha 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 ha. So you can't make the volume controls work with the sound bar unless you have a sound bar that uses HDMI ARC, and you're kind of cheating anyway.
Right.
And I need all my precious HDMIs. Yeah, it's just really nice to have the one remote that just does everything. I'm kind of at this crux in my life, Drew. So, electronics don't last forever. And so I'm like, well, Logitech says they're going to keep the software open. Do I buy an extra, Harmony Elite, which is the really expensive model, and just kind of keep it in the closet or in the attic, John Syracuse style?
Yeah, your own little dead technology time capsule. Neat.
Yeah. Or do I just go, well, I mean, let's be honest, it's Logitech. They're probably going to kill the software in a year anyway, so what's the point? So I've already started looking at alternatives, and
there's not a lot of good out there.
Not a lot of good out there. There's a lot of bad.
Now, let me be clear. I have owned Logitech Harmony remotes.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Okay.
I remember the first Logitech Harmony remote that I bought. I can't remember the exact model number, but the 100% reason I bought it was for the lulz, because it had an LCD screen that you could set a custom background on. And I set that custom background to be a picture of Matt Damon, because I went through a phase in my life where I was extremely attracted to Matt Damon. In fact, I'm not sure that phase is completely over. So,
I'm still in that phase.
Yeah. So I bought that, and it was my background on my remote, and I used to point at it and go, "Ha, funny background," but really it was for me. It was all for me. And I had that remote because I again went through a phase where I had a DLP television and a receiver and surround sound and an actual honest to goodness DVD player, and having all those remotes kind of sucked, right? So having a decent universal remote was important. And there were plenty of remotes, and again, maybe showing my age a little bit, but then again, maybe not, where you could buy those universal remotes where it either came with a programming guide where it was like, hit these sequence of buttons and then hold your other remote up to this remote and do this weird, and now kiss motion where you the one, when inherit the programming of the other remote and all that. And the beauty of the Logitech one was the software, right? So it had you could install the software. You hooked it up via USB, and you used a computer to do it. And it was
you put in your model number and said, I have a TV and it's an LG and here's the model number, and it's like, oh, okay, got ya. And then it knew all the stuff, and it would, like, as you added more devices, it would start suggesting activities to you. It was like, oh, you added some speakers and a receiver.
Yeah,
let's get that all set up the right way that you probably want it to work. And
exactly.
Like, the software is always a little clunky, but it worked. It was ugly. It was really ugly.
Right.
It continues to be ugly.
And you had to sort of double dip on that ugliness because getting it to run on a Mac was problematic.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because you used to have a VM, and then originally it was like Mac compatible again and whatever. But then, after my wife and I bought our first house and we redid our basement, I bought another Logitech Harmony remote because at the time they were the standard, right? They were the ones. And I remember I knew I was in trouble with this product. Like, this was the first sort of like chills up the back of my spine that this might not be a great product. I remember that when I registered my first remote, you had to sign in with you had to have a Logitech account, which whatever, personal information.
Yep.
And then like when I went to register this other remote, I couldn't because like my email address was already in use. And it was like I either couldn't figure out how to have two remotes on one account or something. So like I programmed it once and I was like, well, I'm never going to remember whatever email address I used to register this remote. And it served its purpose perfectly fine. But now
that has been better. Because like I have two, and I have one upstairs and one downstairs, and now they even make it easy. Well, I say now, F you. You can buy a new remote and just go on there and say, hey, I'm replacing this remote with the new one, and then it just moves everything over for you. You don't have to like set anything up.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
Well, and again, very similar to you. Once I sort of stopped using my basement to watch TV in, and I redid my living room. I have the Apple TV up there. I've got the HDMI special port that controls my sound bar. I literally use the Apple TV remote, for better or worse, to control that entire TV. And if I need to flip to play my Switch on the TV, which I very rarely do, or my Xbox, which I very rarely do, I have the TV remote to switch video modes. That's my life now. And then in the bedrooms, we have the Rokus with, just like you described, we can use them to turn on the TV and control the volume. We don't have sound bars in the bedrooms, which, now that I say that out loud, I feel like I need to fix that. But I mean, man, I'm sad for you, but a little bit of a hot take. I just don't think Logitech makes that great stuff anymore. I don't think they make good keyboards anymore. They're making gaming chairs that are vastly overpriced. Like the one thing that I think Logitech still makes relatively decent things are webcams. Like that's about it. Like you can get their 4K webcams.
They still make some really good mice, but if you have to get like the. I agree with you to an extent. I think they're producing a lot more stuff, and the amount of it that is good is getting narrower and narrower. Like if you get into the the MX Master line of mice and stuff like that, I think those are really good. If you like the big mouse style, which I do, but like they're making a lot of questionable decisions, and I'm not surprised that the Harmony remote is on the chopping block. I just can't imagine that there's a big market for universal remotes anymore. But it makes me sad because I really, really love them.
Well, I remember when I first used what I consider to be my first truly smart universal remote, and I put a link in the chat here. It's for the Sony RM-AV3000. Have you ever seen one of these bad boys?
My father had like an earlier version of this.
Yeah.
But yes, it has like it's not even like LCD. It's like liquid crystal display.
The true
on there.
LCD, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And handful of buttons, and I remember like what you said. Like it wasn't so much you told it like, hey, I have this device, is you had to take your old remote and say, okay, Sony Universal Remote, I'm going to teach you the channel up button.
Right.
And you would take your original remote and kind of point it at its butt and then push the channel up button, and then it would go, okay, I know the channel up button now.
Yep. 100%
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
100% correct.
Yep, it worked, but it was ridiculous.
And programming it was kind of a pain because you had to sort of manually pick the icon on the liquid crystal display that you wanted, and it wasn't flat. It was like way bulkier than it needed. Well, I don't know if it was bulkier.
It was about the size of a dinner plate. Yeah,
it was actually a chunky little guy. And yeah, but my uncle had one of these because he had a really nice like projection system in his basement, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I would say that he wouldn't and didn't and doesn't still have the patience to work with a lot of remotes. So this was perfect for him. And after we got it programmed all the right way and got it working, which took a few iterations, it was awesome. It was backlit and it did everything he wanted it to do. So that was sort of my first foray into it. So of course, when I got into the Logitech Harmony remotes, I considered myself a seasoned veteran at that point, and the software was just completely night and day for working with that. But yeah, back to the whole Logitech thing. Even if you're not the kind of person who worships at the feet of the superiority of a mechanical keyboard, even their keyboards aren't that super great. I think they're vastly overpriced. And
I agree.
Even their gaming mice, which again, I sort of agree with you, where there was a point in time where they made really good mice. You can get much more precise and accurate, and what I consider, and this is anecdotal and personal taste, but more ergonomic and easier to use, and mice from companies like SteelSeries. I'm not suggesting you go out and get Razer or anything like that, but there's a lot of good manufacturers out there.
My son had a Logitech gaming mouse, and that did not last very long.
Yeah.
And not that we got rid of it; it literally just didn't last very long. Yeah, and I mean, I've been on many of the MX Masters. I'm actually holding a MX Master 3 right now. I still absolutely love this mice, but a lot of their stuff is just getting cheaper and cheaper, and
it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I mean, I heard you say that you're thinking about mothballing a few of these things. I mean, what's your end game here?
I don't know. Hope my devices last and Logitech's not lying and they'll keep the software working for a while. I mean, I guess push comes to shove, I'd probably just change my setup, replace my soundbar with something that used HDMI ARC, which is what audio return channel, and then just go to like the Roku remote and then be like you, where the situations where I have to change the inputs. I don't know, even the very thought of me grabbing another remote and manually changing inputs makes me want to barf. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cry. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to cry. Hopefully, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not afraid to spend, hundreds of dollars on these things. Maybe I'll keep looking and someone will release a, artisanal remote on Kickstarter or something. Or
that's what I was going to say. Like, who else is playing in this space right now?
There are some other competitors out there. They're just hold on. I should have done my homework and been ready for this. There's a company called, or is it a company or is it a product? Sofa Baton?
Excuse me?
Sofa Baton. Sofa Baton.
Okay, so it's like the actual word sofa and then like baton, like a majorette.
Like they're trying to be clever.
Ooh, okay, hold on. Wow.
But the problem with that is like it's kind of clunky, and it really doesn't have like the notion of activities.
Their website has an expired HTTPS certificate. That's neat.
Yeah, it sure does. Oh, there's another. Hold on. I thought there was one called like Nova. Gonna cut all this out.
No, you shouldn't. It's fun.
No. Neo. NEEO.
Okay.
I think Neo. Yeah. NEEO.com. This is the one that's probably the closest to what I would be looking for. But their kind of niche is, it's a remote, and you can use it for your TV and stuff, but you also can use it to control your smart home. Uh, and they're really leaning into that smart home stuff. And it's got an aesthetic that's not horrible. I wish it had a few more buttons. It's a little too simplistic for me. I want my remote to be a remote. But there are other devices out there in this space. Just none of them have the sensibilities that the Logitech Harmony had. Just that they weren't afraid to make a remote with lots of buttons on there because turns out buttons on remotes are useful sometimes. And the activities and the software, it just was a perfect package. And
the Neo one doesn't look terrible.
No, it doesn't. It does not look terrible. It could use some more buttons. I think some more physical buttons, but it's got a nice little touch screen, and I'm sure it's fine. And
Oh
yeah.
Oh, you have to go to a special showroom to see one of these things.
I know. Yeah, they're very much in the you don't buy one, you get like a specialist to come and.
Oh, it's not a product; it's a lifestyle. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I can't afford that then.
No. And I haven't gotten into the whole home automation thing yet, so I don't. At least there are people kind of playing in this space, and maybe one of them will take the opportunity to go, hey. There are now, thousands, if not hundreds, of upset Harmony remote fans that are going to need to be serviced and start working in that space.
I can't help but wonder if the Logitech remote community, bless their hearts, doesn't step up and do something open source for this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, really, like if Logitech wanted to be sweethearts, like their biggest thing they have is that database of devices and the IR signals that control them. If they license that or open that up, I think there'd be a lot of opportunities for hobbyists. I mean, hell, if someone put together a good tutorial about how to buy pieces and embed a raspberry, those little Raspberry Pis in there, or like a little Arduino board, like I'd freaking make my own. I don't care. I just want it to work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Drew.
I really hope I would like you to bring this subject back whenever you decide if you're gonna mothball a few of these things or.
I will. I for sure I will. Yeah.
Okay. All right, tell me about your garbage eyes.
Yeah. So my eyeballs, my physical human eyeballs, they're garbage, and they're more garbage now than ever. I've worn glasses since I was like 6 or 7 when I was in first grade. I should have had glasses earlier, but my parents were like, "He's just bad at school."
Okay.
So. My eyes have progressively gotten worse as I've gotten older. There was a period of time where I could wear contacts, and the contacts got too thick, and they were no longer comfortable. If you know about the numbers and stuff, like my contacts were like in the -8, -8.5 range, so bad. Like I can't read the big E. Bad. So I tend to try to go to the eye doctor as much as possible. I did miss my last year's appointment because of COVID, but I went recently, and for like the past decade or so, every time I go to the eye doctor and they test my eyes, and I'm nearsighted, I'm nearsighted, right? So I can only see things close up, things at a distance, and by a distance I mean 6 inches. Are blurry, hella blurry. But, my close-up vision, and, being a man of a certain age, has started to go as well. And for the past decade or so, I'd go and get a new prescription, and they're like, well, it's not going to be this year, but maybe your next pair of glasses will need to be bifocals or progressive lenses or something like that. But it's always been next year and next year and next year.
And next year's here?
And next year is here, Drew. I went to the eye doctor this week, and I'm gonna get progressive lenses. Yay! which I need them because like I'm doing a lot of the, dropping the glasses to the tip of my nose and looking over them to read things or look at things close up.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah, and it's getting more frequent and more. It's been getting worse, and it's time. It's time. It's just my eyes are garbage. And just to add, so went to the eye doctor. Like, okay, yeah, time to get progressive lenses, and let me tell you how those work and how to use them. That was expected. The unexpected thing was I'm getting cataracts. So, woo!
Okay, well, that's
I guess technically not getting cataracts. I have some small cataracts in my right eye already.
Yeah, but they can use lasers to blast those eyeballs right back into shape, though.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, it's horrifying surgery.
Yes.
to read about.
Yep.
They literally go, well, your old lens is garbage. But we made this new one out of space age polymers and plastics.
You're a cyborg, Paul.
Yeah. So we're just going to use lasers to basically destroy your lens, put an incision in there, suck it out, and drop a new lens in there. So yeah, my eyes are garbage, Drew. It's just.
Yeah, I remember my father had cataract surgery, and yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's one of those things you're actually awake for, but they give you like a pretty decent sedative to keep you calm.
Yeah, from what I can tell, they basically like the morning of, like they give you a bunch of like Klonopin and stuff, and go just take a bunch of these.
Yeah, just go all out.
Yeah, like we're gonna be messing with your eye, but you're not gonna care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are you gonna get that scheduled, or what's your plan there?
At this point, they're not big enough to really do anything about. So we just have to keep an eye on them because they will just continue to grow until they become noticeable, and then we'll deal with them. But
okay,
I probably have a couple of years before I have to start thinking about that. But it's just fun to know that's around the corner.
Neat.
Woo.
Neat.
Yeah, neat. But I get to be one of those fancy people with different prescriptions in their eyeglasses. Yay! I'm old.
Huh.
I'm old.
Yeah, my eyes have stayed the same the last 6 years. The only thing I have changed is like contact lens brands, and I'm pretty abusive to my eyes, and I don't mean that just like based on my browsing history. What I mean is like I leave my contacts in for like weeks at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I have those, day and night lenses, and I will leave my contacts in for weeks. And every once in a while, I'll wake up and my eyes are really crusty and gross, and I'm like, well, better change my contacts. And then I'll take them out and leave them out over a weekend so my eyes can recover a bit, and then it's right back into it. Right back in we go. Just pop a new pair in there. Okay, well, do I get you a gift, or like what do we do here?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. My eyes are garbage. So I just wanted to let you know. My eyeballs, they're bad.
Okay.
They're bad.
All right.
Bad eyeballs. How's your grass?
It's growing. Yay! So the original sun and shade seed that I put down last week has sprouted, and it's got some good length going on there. Much like myself, and it's coming in, and I've been emboldened by that experience. And the previous weekend, I went to local big box home store, bought a bunch of more grass seed, not the same kind that's like the all-in-one mix that you just sort of throw water on, and you're set. I was gonna do this the quote unquote right way, so I went and bought some more grass seed and some grass soil, like some lawn soil.
Yeah.
And some straw, and patched, threw down a bunch of seed in some areas that were looking a little rough. And it's starting to look a little bit better. I have told the people who mow our grass not to mow our grass for a few weeks. So my lawn was looking a little ragged in the places that actually need it cut, but I don't want them running over my grass seed with a lawnmower, and which they absolutely 100% would if I didn't tell them. Even like if you're driving down the street right? And you see straw on a yard. What is your sort of natural sort of deduction there? And you don't necessarily have to be Sherlock Holmes to know what that means.
They just put down some grass seed.
Probably some grass seed
that's
there.
what I would assume. Yeah,
Yeah, and people who cut grass for a living, I feel
would know this.
Would know that, but I have seen them time and time again just right over that hay, and shit just goes flying everywhere. So I sort of have to like flag them down every week and tell them, hey, don't cut my grass this week. Well, it's going to look pretty long, and I say, I know, I know how this works. And I've sort of lucked out with some of the weather because it got a little chillier, which is good, and it rained a decent amount. I should have watered today, I just didn't have time, so I'll probably water first thing in the morning tomorrow. That's the only thing is like I have to water my yard, which just seems like a colossal waste of water. But here we are. I guess if I want my lawn to look better, that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do. So it's going pretty well, I got to say. So good for me. Yeah. A couple other things. What else? Yeah. Just man, there's just. My house is just laid out in such a weird fashion that there's just all these spots in my yard that just need patched, and it's a constant thing. So it's going well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
A couple other little notes here that I want to bring to the table. So I've been invited on a web/podcast, which is called Geeks. What is it? Something Geeks on Screens.
Geeks on. I've been looking at the YouTube page. Geeks on Screens. Yes.
Yeah, it's Mark Price Mayer, who is another Microsoft employee, and he interviews people in the data and AI community. And he's got some really good ones out there. Some really well known people that he's interviewed, and I was supposed to be on last season, but couldn't get that set up in time. And there's some really good ones coming up. Argenis Fernandez, who is, a rock star over at Pure Storage, and Annette Allen, who is over in the UK and does a lot of good stuff. Simon Whiteley, who is an awesome BI and data warehouse person. Like, there's some really big names to rub shoulders with over there. And let me double check when I'm scheduled. It's going to be a while. Like, I think I'm scheduled sometime in July because like the schedule for this season is sort of booked. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm out in July 16th.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he does it live and then the recording's available.
Got it. Okay. So you can watch it live on YouTube and then watch it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so I'll be on there talking about me, I guess, and go check out the channel. Not necessarily for me. There'll be a link in the show notes. Really nice guy, really good podcast, some really fun people on there. A lot of people that I'm friends with, and yeah, Rob Sewell, who's a big fan of our show, has been on there.
Yep.
Yeah, so go watch some of those videos and see what you think. Just want to give him a plug because he does really good work. And
cool.
Some of my other friends that are local, like Jess Pomfret, she moved to the UK, but she's a big PowerShell person. She's one of my good friends. Like, she moved, and yeah, there's just a lot of good people on there. So go check it out for sure. I think you'll enjoy it. It's not. I mean, it is a data focused thing, but it's more about the people, I would say. So go check it out.
Cool. It's on my list to do.
Yeah. Last topic that I sort of want to bring up. I have been playing a new video game, Paul. Uh-oh. You have opinions. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know how I can do that. So I have been playing the game Outriders. Outriders is a game that has come out, I believe it is like a week and a half ago now.
Sounds about right.
I'm just going to go on record and say as I'm having a very, very good time with that game. Playing on the PC, as the superior gamer does. It's a fun little romp. It is a looter shooter, co-op only, or you can do the whole thing by yourself, which I've done most of it by myself or with my buddy Arthur. And it has been a rollicking good time. I'm not going to pretend that they didn't have some teething problems early on with, online services for a game that absolutely positively does not have to be online, having server issues, which, that's just how games work these days. Yeah, I really enjoy it. The general plot is you are part of a group who is trying to leave a dead Earth, and you find a planet. You are part of an expeditionary force who lands on a planet. Stuff does not go well, as the science fiction tropes usually go. There's a terrible event involving an anomaly and some other stuff, and you get thrown into cryostasis. You wake up 35 years later, and as humans do, we have fucked everything up, and you have to try to set things right. And oh, by the way, now you have superpowers. So that's the whole premise of the game, and it's a really good time. If you've ever played a Diablo or a Destiny or any games like that, it is very similar. It is a third person view game where it's a cover shooter, very very similar to Gears of War. If you've ever played that, you kill people and animals, you get better loot, and you keep doing that. The story is okay.
We have different opinions about that, but okay.
Well, the cutscenes are very over the top. I'm very much enjoying the journal writings.
I don't think I got that far.
All right. Well,
I only played the demo. The demo's full feature, but they lock you to like the first 4 powers and only like the first part of the game. To me, okay, so I put in a good solid weekend playing the game because I really wanted to like it, and I only sort of liked it. I did not hate the game. If you squint hard, there is a good game hiding in there. To me, it feels like someone described a good looter shooter over a bad phone connection, and someone took notes and then made Outriders. I don't. To me, it feels like a solid AA game. It's not AAA. It's lacking some polish. The acting is abysmal,
Yep.
but not to be expected. You're not a huge budget game. At least I don't think. Maybe it's supposed to be. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like a good like AA game. Like this game would have been awesome 10 years ago. Absolutely awesome. The mechanics I didn't find super compelling, except there's one feature of the game that I thought was the best, and even then, like it's only like a 7 out of 10. It does kind of like the modern Doom mechanics where you heal by using powers on enemies.
Right.
So it's constantly forcing you to, keep going and keep fighting and keep going after bad guys. And after I put in some hours over the weekend, I sat down and I thought to myself, wow, this is almost as good as Destiny. I should just play Destiny again because it's much better. So I started playing Destiny 2 again because of Outriders.
Yeah, so it's very, very funny you say that because I am nearing the end of the game. I have put, let's see what Steam tells me. I have played about 16 hours. I probably have 2 or 3, maybe 4 more hours to go if I want to sort of 100% this thing, because I've been taking my time. I've been doing side quests. My buddy Arthur has already beaten the game on 3 different characters because he hasn't done any side quests and he skips all the cutscenes. But I've got 16 hours into this. I definitely have felt like I have got my money's worth. You're right. There are a few things that are a little bit frustrating about it. There are clearly classes in the game, and there are 4 classes that all have slightly different play styles. Fundamentally, you mash buttons and shoot dudes, but there's definitely some classes that are more fun to play than the others. I'm playing the fire one, and it's very, very fun. And I will say that the game is incredibly enjoyable with a friend, just because there are more enemies and they are harder, and the game has there's some pretty decent ideas in the game, right? Like they have the whole adaptive difficulty thing where if you play well, like you basically have 2 experience bars. You have an experience bar for your character level, which affords you more health, more power, more ability points to build your character the way you want. And there's another experience bar for what they call the world tier. And again, this is kind of out of like a Diablo 3 thing here, but very, very similar, where if you play well and you don't die as you're getting kills and doing things in the game, that bar also goes up. And every time you cross a threshold, what that does is that makes the enemies tougher. It raises the
Yeah.
level of the enemies, makes them more
Be-
spongy, they hit
But
harder.
you get better loot.
You get
You get
better loot, right?
You
So
get better pants faster.
yeah,
Yeah.
better pants faster. Trademark Paul Baylor. God, I would love to see that on a shirt. But yeah, that's the trade-off. You get harder enemies, but better loot. And I'm on world tier 10 of 15, and it's getting pretty challenging. And like I said, I play with my buddy whenever we're both around, and it's a really fun time. I will say that there are some things that are a little bit maddening about the game. There are different types of enemies that you face. The worst of those are the snipers, because they are extremely twitchy. You will see a laser beam and you have a microsecond to react sometimes. And if they shoot you, they sort of stun you and knock you out of cover. So it's maddening in a cover shooter to have that happen.
Yeah.
And there's this really annoying thing that even on the true superior gaming platform that is the PC, if you're aiming with a keyboard and mouse, you can clearly see the head of an opponent hiding behind cover. You can clearly put your reticle over their head and not hit them because they're in cover.
I have heard that of all the platforms they released on, the PC is, as of today, the worst to play it on. It's got the most bugs, the most jank.
Yeah,
you get a lot better experience if you become a filthy console gamer.
Yeah,
that won't be true forever.
Yeah, and you're right. There is significant jank. Like, there's this weird bug, and I can actually reproduce it, where if you are halfway through a main quest and then you do a side quest, your objective marker just always points to the side quest. So makes navigating some of these maps a little bit difficult, because the path through some of the environments aren't necessarily well defined. There are sections of the game where there is just not enough ammo. The game is either feast or famine with ammo resupplies. There were certain stretches of that game where there just was not enough ammo. And when you're getting into these higher world tiers and it's taking so many bullets to kill things, like, that's not good. It's not good. Even with your superpowers, it's pretty tough. There's areas of the environment you get hung up on. Some of the boss battles are just frankly bullshit, just because it's hard to tell. They do this mechanic where they sort of put a circle on the ground where the boss attack is going to land. And there's a little bar that sort of shows the boss winding up, and you think you can dodge it, but you can never dodge it. But here's the thing, though. I say all that, and that all sounds really bad, but the combat is, like, really fun. Like, the guns feel pretty meaty. The powers are really cool. That's what's anchoring that game. And I think the game sort of knows it. Like, it's not, you're not there for the story. You're not there for the jank. You're sort of there for the combat, because it's kind of fun.
And see, I'd agree with you to an extent. Like, if this game survives in 2 years, it's probably going to be absolutely amazing if they keep putting money and putting time in it and start balancing and tweaking stuff. But like, even I tried some of the different classes to see whether it was the one that I picked that I didn't like, and like, yeah, they're all interesting, but every time I picked it up, I'm like, Destiny does this better. I should just go play Destiny.
Yep.
And that's what I would recommend. If this game sounds good to you, I'd recommend just play Destiny 2.
And
it's free to play now. There's a lot of content you can go without giving any money. If you give them like $30, you can unlock all different modes and stories. And
yeah, I 100% agree with you. I would not pay full price for this game, first of all. If you have Xbox Game Pass, you can get it for free. Yeah. So if you are the kind of person who has an Xbox and a Game Pass, I think you should at least try it. I would not pay full price for this game, because here's the thing. There really isn't an end game. You get through this thing, and then you just can grind sort of the same thing and try to get better loot and make yourself better. But there really isn't an end game right now. And I think that's probably the biggest concern I have with this is, once I get through this main story, my main option is to go back and redo it with a different class. Because you can't change classes. Once you make that choice, that's permanent. You can't like flip, right?
They'll add that. Like, I really do think in a couple of years, heck, even 6 months from now, this game's probably going to be just better and different, and it's probably something I'll go back to, or if I can get it on sale. And also, just random comment: if you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, you're an idiot. It's like the best value in gaming.
Oh my
Just
god, it's
freaking do it.
it's so good, and I say that even as like an unofficial shill for that company, right? But like it's ridiculous money for value. Even if you don't have an
Oh,
Xbox, if you have a PC,
oh.
you get free games. And
It makes me so, as a loyal PlayStation enthusiast, Game Pass just makes me so mad. It's just like Sony just blatantly copy this, do this.
yeah,
Like, well, we have PlayStation now, like that, but it sucks.
yeah,
Have you looked at it? It's bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that could be reminding me. I'm going to pull up my Xbox app right now and see what free games I could play on there.
Oh, it's such a good freak, and they keep adding more stuff, like the entire Bethesda back catalog.
EA.
It's just, yeah, it's just ridiculous the amount of stuff that's on there, man. It's, well, I'll be adamant that Sony has better first party exclusives. It's so hard to argue with the value proposition of Game Pass. The amount of games and good games and back catalog and stuff you get for that monthly cost. And it's not that even expensive. It's like what, like game cost? How much is it now?
Well,
Join Xbox Game Pass.
yeah, so Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is let's see here. If you actually buy it directly from Microsoft, let's see what it costs.
See all
Maybe.
plans. Hold on. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope. Go
join
back.
Ultimate. Let's see what the pricing plan is. So here's how they get you, Paul. You get your first month for $1.
Of course.
$1. And you can pay, I think it's $15 a month after that, which is, that's Netflix money.
That's still ridiculous for the amount of money. And I also heard like you can go to like CD Keys and get things for much cheaper and stuff like that constantly.
Or if you know somebody who works for Microsoft and gets an employee discount on things, you might be able to get a card that gives you a year of it for a really good price. Just want to throw that out there.
Got it. I don't want to have to buy an Xbox, but god damn, it's such a good deal.
Well, I mean, listen, Zach is a PC boy, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, for him, I'd get it for him for the PC version alone because there's so many. I mean, not every game that is on the console makes it over to the PC experience, but we're sitting like an 80-20 ratio here, man. Like, it's pretty good. I mean, hell, dude, Day of the Tentacle remasters on there. What more do you need?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
All the like you said, all the Bethesda games are over there now, and they add games at a pretty good clip. Pretty much every big, like, Xbox game that is multi-platform ends up on there.
Yeah, and they're just gobbling up studios left and right and just going, "Oh, your stuff's on Game Pass now, woo!" Or you're cutting deals, and they're just nonstop.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's such good value for money. It really is. The only thing that isn't on there, and I find this really odd, is Minecraft. Minecraft Dungeons is, but the actual Minecraft game isn't. That's the one thing that I don't understand.
It must be selling, or they must have a contract or something, or it must just be selling ridiculously well still.
But Microsoft owns it, though. That's the thing.
That's true. That's
right?
true. Yeah.
But I think it's just such a moneymaker that I don't think they care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It makes me jealous. Not so much that I'm going to, put my hat in the ring and try to find a Series X recently. Because I like my PlayStation. I still think it's the better console. I still think it's the better games. The thumbsticks are in the right place. I still think Microsoft's going to lose this gen. Even with Game Pass, I still think they're going to lose this round of like the next gen console wars. I think Sony will still outsell them by some ridiculous margin. But Game Pass is just so freaking good.
That's really good. It's really good, man.
Oh, and it's getting and that's what makes me so mad is I look at Sony and I'm like, copy this, do this thing, even if it costs more, and it's not as good as first. Which I guess technically that's what PlayStation now is. It costs more and it's not as good, but I just do it better. Be better. Do this. Right. And they're trying. Like they have the PlayStation Collection. where if you're one of the chosen few who managed to get a PlayStation 5, you get a bunch of like the best of the PlayStation 4 for free.
Mm-hmm.
If you have PlayStation Plus, which is what you need to play online games, they give you like 2 or 3 games a month for free that you can keep as long as you keep subscribing. But like those are just hit and miss. Sometimes it's like a game you just don't care about. Every once in a while, it's a really good game, or it's a game that like I'd already played that I'm glad new people can start playing for free. But they just don't put the effort, the back catalog, the pricing, the marketing, just everything. Just Sony copy Microsoft. It's okay. We won't yell at you for cheating on some copying someone else's test. It's fine. We're gonna let you do it. Literally copy Microsoft. Do that.
Right.
Oh
man.
Oh.
All right.
And play Destiny. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I actually do have an itch to get back into that because Call of Duty's wearing a little thin for me and the boys right now, and if I could convince them to go play, if I could convince them to go play it with me, I would have a lot of fun. But
if you want to play with my son, I can hook you up. He plays a lot.
Well, actually here, convey this to your son for me, and it's 100% for real. Ask him, as somebody who hasn't played Destiny in about a year, what do I do with all my old gear?
Oh, yeah, it's basically garbage now. I can tell you that.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like I have a bunch of stuff in my vault. Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of stuff in my inventory. I don't know like what I'm supposed to do with any of that. And that's the part that scares me from coming back. We'll be 100% real with you.
I will ask him, and I will follow up next week with what to do with your old gear.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, please. Thank you. I need expert advice from a real gamer.
From a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Can't keep up with it anymore, man.
That's what he does. He plays Apex with his friends sometimes too, because I think he has a couple of friends that really like playing Apex Legends. But if he's just sitting down by himself, it's 90% of the time it's Destiny. He's just on there. He's watching videos about it. Just yeah. He's all in. Awesome.
All right, well, let's wrap this one up.
Let's do that. You can find us on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. If your podcast player doesn't show any of the show links, you can go find all of those there. You can find us on Twitter at doingbestpod. You can find me there at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Pittfurg, Pittfurg.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody.